The final seal has been broken. Apocalyptic visions embrace eternity, terror to consume the species. All along you knew this time would come. Abraxas annihilation between the heavens, when the lamb and the goat were fused as one. The waters of that asylum drowning out all the voices that plague your mind, which is the curse of untapped intelligence, pushing you to the edge of sanity. Repetitive waves continue, blinded past your soul. Abraxas annihilation between the heavens, when the lamb and the goat were fused as one. The fire purifies, cleansing you of all of this beneath your bearing of reality. Temptation's grasp, as destiny comes unto itself. The end. Everyone, this is Sethikus, Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts, and Occult Science, here on another segment. And as for things that are going to be addressed, it's a recap in terms of what I've just uploaded, and also everything that has led up to these present moments. This is going to be addressing things in terms of what I observe happening in the reality field all across the fucking board. The inability to see clear in terms of perception, which is the reason why your lives and our world are in the condition that it is, and is a failure to accept that evil actually fucking exists. You've been lied to assume that by being kind and loving to an alleged virtue, that this is going to change things otherwise. Look at all of the attempts to your failed intentions, let alone go into the overreach in terms of psychological diagnosis of various factors as to why someone or something could be like that. This is how you continue to lie to yourselves in an effort to claim that there is no ultimate evil at play. In ancient times, it was simple, and it was dealt with accordingly. This is why the fuckers that rule you continue to do what they do, and why it's not dealt with on the level, and is a plague of false hope otherwise in terms. We live in a world in these current moments that wants us to deny this in terms of reality. And millions of individuals don't even know who the fuck they are, calling evil good and actual good evil with what is even happening on Earth, let alone why. The dichotomy in terms has always separated the goats of wisdom away from the ignorant sheep, who by consent and willful ignorance continue to be led into the slaughterhouse. And to that, you don't even see the real fucking enemy leading you down the track with your nose up the ass of the other sheep. And generation after generation, it's been like this, and you still don't fucking get it. In that there is a natural, organic division that actually happens here in reality with those that are truly awakening. It's a destruction, a severing of that which must be severed to whatever the fuck diagnosis could claim with things that are not actually what they claim to be or seem to be. Most individuals are living in the realm of effect, dealing with the surface of that effect. They don't know the cause to anything. And in that somehow that which is evil can change into something good. This cannot and will never happen. And it never fucking has throughout the course of history of existence itself. There is no negotiation with this. And there is no transformation otherwise. And when you have truly seen the ultimate evil, like I have face to face, to its unrelented seething despondence of the human spirit, there is no fucking mercy for it with us, past the surface of circumstance, to a skewed process, no matter how it's justified, and as far as I'm concerned, must be utterly destroyed. Those that are spiritually mature know what I'm saying and know not to fuck with this shit no matter what form it takes. You deal in surfaces, like I was saying, and live in the realm of effects, blind to the cause points to anything of why the roots of evil are what they actually fucking are, let alone claim healing and unity to the restoration of tyrants and a bullshit signal to virtue in the name of the ultimate good. See, you still don't get it, and you still don't see the paradox you reside in, and still do not know how things actually work. And anyone in the world that assumes it's otherwise lives in a fucking fantasy to nothing. And you still don't realize how intrinsically fucking sophisticated the lie actually is. The fact that evil does not give a fuck about the human races, let alone the true gods and goddesses in context to ancestors, lures you away in any way that it can from these things. And it's something that many people out there are not willing to accept in terms of how things actually work. There's something that happened in ancient times that you either do not know happened, which I've explained, or you're not willing to accept in terms of truth, fully acknowledged as the cause point to it. This is why I'm making this segment again, to address this, and especially as I did with the Magog Grail Shaman segment, Nectar of Immortality. Those that know the truth know what evil is and what it actually fucking looks like in all its various forms. Realize, first of all, that unity as a concept is not sustainable without trampling the precept of individuation and cannot manifest otherwise in terms of reality and how things actually work. And see, if that were the case, then the world would not be in the condition that it is. And as it continues to put you in situations with no boundary to discern in context, being put in places that you don't actually fucking belong. You've been lied to, even if you claim to know the difference. Otherwise, the justifications in denial, individuals that claim that they are good, but are in fact part of the ultimate evil. And you can't discern it. You can't see it clearly for what the fuck it is. In terms of justification, denial of that denial, and then blame. Blame anything else except yourself for the condition of your circumstances and what the fuck is happening in the world. You're not going to get away from the basis of fundamentals and principles that objectively decide on their own terms how things are, and is the order of nature and the universe and how things actually work. This will never be bypassed in context to reality, and you're a fucking liar if you assume otherwise. The ultimate evil knows how to manipulate these things against you all too well, and there is no mixing water with oil. They are separate, yet both held within this paradoxical cauldron of observation to reality. As I've stated many, many times, the doors to the mystery school are open. It's an open invitation in terms of initiation, but we do not hold a quote-unquote open door policy with the mystery school. And vetting is a constant with individuals in terms of accountability. There is an actual fucking standard and difference here and requirements. And you need to watch the fuck out for all of this other bullshit in terms of what I'm getting at. And also know that this is why. It's not about quantity, it is about quality. We are about quality in terms of proper knowledge and wisdom with what is manifesting and what continues to manifest in alignment to the trajectory of the original timeline. And see, all of this has happened as a cause point of division on our terms. If you've been divided away from evil, it's because nature and the universe are not going to allow that to persist. And you must realize your goddamn responsibility to eradicate its equation factors in your life and in our world. This is what it means to take responsibility for your condition. And there's no balance to the equation here. And in context to truth, only separation can happen. There is no unity. There is no fucking connection with evil here. You're not even connected to your own eternal spirit otherwise. And until you realize that it's an unrelenting golden violence that burns within the human spirit, you will be a slave to the devouring force that must be eradicated otherwise. You must come to realize that we have been in a season of division, and also to mark the fact that this division is necessary, especially at this point. We are being called back to our own kind again, in that we stop mingling with evil and stop putting yourselves in situations where you don't actually fucking belong. You are never in the course of your entire existence going to be able to love evil back to itself, to good. One cannot be the other, vice versa. Evil is a devouring force, and it doesn't give a flying fuck about anything except one thing: total fucking annihilation of the human races. On a drip, on a consent, on a bow in terms of virtue. You still do not see how your mind is being played here in context, everybody. What I've witnessed, everyone running back into this bullshit like clockwork to programming. Did you not catch the signal 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago now? What the most recent segment before this one transcended the triangulation factor in context, pierced the fourth veil. If you could see from my vantage point, if you could see in terms of perception through the lens of what has been revealed, it's honestly fucking laughable. And I mock this bullshit in terms of what's being implemented in our world. If you can't see it by now, I don't know what else to say. You really, really need to wake the fuck up something fierce now, because none of it is working. You're just running in circles, flying on the fucking spokes, thinking that you're evolving, assuming that you are progressing, assuming that you're having any sort of an effect to tear down the constructs and the grid works of consciousness in terms of the ultimate fucking evil. But you don't even know how the ultimate evil fucking operates. They play both sides of the equation in terms of triangulation. And unless you take the quest in terms of the real great work in order to transcend this and make connection to the ultimate good, the true factor here, the true virtue, how to make connection to the higher force of the Jedi itself, it's never going to happen otherwise. This is where you tap the gates of true intelligence. Another thing that you must come to realize is that everything in reality is 100% conditional in terms of how things actually work. And without accepting that fact, and that there are primary conditions that have existed since the very foundations of creation, and that which is to everything in reality, you're going to be fodder for the harvest otherwise, feasted upon the table of the watchers to the ultimate evil, to all that I've explained in terms of what the fuck is really going on, the contrast, the oppression, the triangulation, the actual fucking slavery that you can't still see how it fucking operates to break the goddamn fucking chains. This is the goal. This is the objective. And as we progress going into 2023, the King of Swords, in terms of archetypal consciousness, is definitely going to be coming forth harder with me. We don't have tolerance for ignorance. I know that people are still in the process of learning and integrating proper knowledge and wisdom on a higher fucking level. But once you reach a certain point, there is no tolerance for ignorance otherwise. And this is the most kind and loving gesture that I could express, even though it seems counterintuitive and contrary to your plausible deniability, overreaching sensibility. Thicken up your fucking skin, everybody. Because in order to even embrace truth on the level necessary to transcend the lockdown equations that are still running like clockwork, this is the standard. This is going to be what's required of you as an individual going through the process integration of self-mastery to individuation. You also need to accept the factor to reality that some individuals are going to have to catch it in the next life. And it's time for those that get it to make the final decision to cross these thresholds and see things all the way through and continue to prepare for what cannot be stopped to the trajectory of the original timeline. Like I am saying, this will still take years. But for those of us that know the difference, know that we are who the ultimate evil fear, as it inevitably reveals the manifestation to the ultimate devourment of the parasite upon itself, as the diabolics dictate upon reality, let alone otherwise. To this, you will be devoured along with it. They cannot stop what is coming. They cannot stop the trajectory of the original timeline. And know that what I'm sharing here is fucking real. I don't waste words and I don't fuck around. You've been lied to, and lied to assume that the ultimate evil does not exist and has somehow been taken care of, when that clearly is not the case in terms of the bullshit that religion has conditioned you to. And holding and clinging on to some idea that we are all the same here on earth is bullshit. That is one of the biggest sacks of bullshit sold within our common era, when that clearly is not the fucking case. This, in terms of what I'm getting at, embodies itself through people. And you must come to know this and know what the fuck to do about it from here on out, especially when it comes time, otherwise, to everything I've stated past these things. There is a point of no return, and there's a question now. Are you willing to cross these thresholds? Are you willing to come into the actual truth and see for yourself the equation that transcends the lockdown? If that is you and you are interested, send me an email at blackearthproductions with an S at hotmail.com. Go to the website at blackearthproductions.com. Click on the services page. Line things out for the 4 rites initiation into the mystery school. Get a hold of me. I'm about to take everything to the next level in terms of the platform and with the mystery school. Everything is going to be upgraded with the Black Earth Library as well. And there's a lot more that's going to be revealed going into 2023. I hope that all of you out there wrap it up good in terms of 2022. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon. The doors are open for those that want an actual standard that's going to set you on course to transcend and integrate past the slave state of mind that you've been conditioned to. Hit me the fuck up. Be empowered. Be encouraged.